Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you on your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's another Thursday here on the East Coast. It's 8 p.m. On the West Coast, it's 5 p.m. And it's Friday morning in London town at 1 a.m. And it's Friday morning over in Tokyo, Japan at 9 a.m. They're having breakfast and they're off to work. They're starting their day right there. It's Friday to them. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan. Welcome once again. It's another edition of Talk Back Live. This is where we meet every Thursday at this time. And of course, we get together, we have conversation. And of course, all of you together, if you're here for the first time, the show operates like this. I throw out the conversation first off, get the show rolling as the host. I do that. That's my job. And once I get that rolling, in between all of that, you can chime in anytime you want. All you have to do is use your keyboard on your computer, your cell phone, or your tablet, or any kind of device that you use, you can pick us up on, right? And all you have to do is do that. I will see you right there on the big screen, and I will acknowledge you if you so desire. I will acknowledge you, and of course, if there's something in particular that you want to talk about or just throw into the conversation, of course, we can do that too. And of course, those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you already know that we want you to know, or not just Facebook, because we're all around the world. So we come on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram, and we're live. And for those of you who are watching us on Facebook, take the time right now to tag your friends. You could tag this show right now as we speak while it's getting in gear. Do it right now. It's just as simple as that. I know you have a lot of friends, or maybe you have selective friends that you want, that you know that probably may want to join in conversation. You can do that. Just tag them and they'll see us. Of course, they'll see you, they'll see me, and they'll see everybody else involved here. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube, I always encourage you to go onto my YouTube channel. You're there right now, and just subscribe to us if you haven't done it thus far. You see the little button there. All you have to do is just take your mouse and point it over to that, take the arrow of the mouse, point it over to where it says subscribe, click it, and it's in. There's no charge, just in case you ask. There's no charge, no nothing, no fees, no nothing. All you have to do is subscribe, and all of that will take care of itself. That will also give you an opportunity to know when we come on live, or if we are so much as post a video. It will give you that notification that will pop up, providing you online to see it. And then you can click on to that notification and it brings you directly to the page. And those of you who are watching us on Instagram, we thank you so much for being along with us. All you have to do is just to keep following us and like us too. Do that and tell your friends about us. Make sure you get that word out there percolating about the show. And of course, we really would appreciate that. We have so many things to do in conjunction with interacting with you online. Of course, we would also like to tell you that we have, of course, our regular features. Of course, first of all, coming up not too far away in the show, Brian Camp will be along. You'll get the chance to see him. He'll be here bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. So if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, you can get a chance to see him. He'll be right up on the screen. You'll get a chance to meet and greet him. And if you have any questions on sports or anything to that nature, you can ask questions. He'll see that information too. As I see you, he'll see you as well. And but unfortunately, you guys who are watching us on Instagram, we don't have the capability of putting Brian on the air. We don't have that. And that's not us. That happens to be, I guess, the policy of Meta, who owns Facebook and Instagram. And of course, Instagram, we won't be able to do that. But you will hear him, you'll hear the voice, but you won't get a chance to see him. But you can still at the same time ask questions if you have something about sports, and we will relay that question to him and he'll answer it. He'll do anything, So that's all coming up too. Also later on the program, we have a little thing we call This Day in History. So whatever happened on this day in history, whatever time it happened, we have that information. We're going to read it off for you right through the show as the show progresses. And then before the show is all over, we're also going to give you the movies that you like. Now, what I do each week is have a pick of movies, my pick of the week for the weekend, because the weekend is coming up and a lot of you may want to catch up on some movies. And so I would just want to add what I picked to add to your bucket list of movies, what to watch. Other than that, it's you, me, and the world, and we'll do it all together. And remember that all of the opinions, the view and the opinions expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any kind of social media outlet or broadcast facility. So there you go. We get the show started right away. Want to say hi to all of you out there. Special hello to everyone who may be celebrating birthdays and bar mitzvahs and any kind of thing that you may be celebrating. We want to thank you. We also want to let you know that coming this weekend, we'll be celebrating Mother's Day. So I want to take time in advance to wish all of you mothers a happy Mother's Day. That's coming up Sunday. And those of you who have the fortune of having your moms with you, please do something nice for her. Take her out, buy her something and treat her with kindness, as of course I know you always do, right? Because mothers are the best. Mothers are the best. And of course, they've done so many things for us and they brought you to this point in life. So you owe them now, right? You owe them. As a matter of fact, you never could repay a mom. And you learn that as you get older, especially you people who are younger, much younger, and really don't appreciate it just yet. But as you get older, you'll understand that moms were the best part of your world, the best part of your life, the intimate part of your life. So again, an advance happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. And Sunday will be the day. So here we are once again, another Thursday, and we're coming to you live from New York City, just in case you're wondering or you care, or do you care? I don't know. Anyway, we're here live all the time. So thank you so much for being along with us for this Thursday evening. So much to talk about. So many things are happening. So many things has happened since we've been here the last time. And first off, I want to say, make mention that if you are a soap opera fan, particularly General Hospital, here's some news that came along that I found out today that Jacqueline Zima, who starred on the soap opera General Hospital for more than 4 decades, and she portrayed the character, and you may know her if you're a General Hospital fan. She played the character of Bobby Spencer, and she died Wednesday. And she joined the cast of the long-running drama in 1977. But before that, 1976, she had a spot on One Life to Live. Now, when she landed that role, it was only supposed to be for 3 days, but they managed to give her more work and it lasted up to a year. And then she bounced from One Life to Live and she became a fixture that made her a household name on General Hospital. And so we're going to miss her. She was 70 years old. And I liked her character, and she's been on that soap opera for years and years and years. But we're going to miss her. I'm going to miss her because I watch General Hospital every day. If I don't get a chance to watch it in real time, I always, pre-record it just in case, something happens. And a lot of times, too, you get those news break-ins, which happens regularly, the breaking news, and they just cut in and do what they do like they did yesterday. But you could always go and check them out later on because they repost on abc.com and you could watch it on there as well. So anyway, just to mention that she passed away. So we're going to really miss her. And of course, when we left the air last week, now, we do 2 shows a week. We do this show, Talk Back Live, and on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do the coffee hour. Now, it always seems to me, it always happens. I don't know. It always happens. I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidental. I don't know. But always something news come up. But then again, news is a 24-hour wait. It always happens. It happens around the clock. Something happens around the clock. But the news we got on Sunday, over the weekend, over this past weekend, last Sunday, There was another mass shooting, and it happened in a mall in Allan, Texas, Sunday. And there were 8 people who were killed, 7 injured. And we were just talking about it. We just reported some mass shootings last weekend or last week. We reported some shootings then. And we had a kind of a quiet week before that because there were no mass shootings. But then again, this came about. And lo and behold, when we went into our weekend, particularly Sunday, just before it was time to go back to work and do our regular routine, we wake up in the morning and we find more information like that. That shooting happened in Allan, Texas. 8 people died. That's a lot of people, and 7 people injured. Now, I don't know the status of the people who were injured, but no one should be injured and no one should be dead due to these shootings that happen. Mass shootings over what? Over nothing, you know. And the big story in town is always the AR-15s, the military weaponry. And that seems to be the rage these days. I don't know, everyone's owning them. They're going into candy stores, like going into a candy store and just getting one, or ordering them online. And it's like, this is the new normal. Unfortunately, this is the new normal for the time being. And again, you know, you make sure that those of you who have loved ones who are still here, or you're still here, please be very careful where you go or what you do, your surroundings, and your neighbors. You know, kind of look out for each other. You don't even know who your neighbors are, you know, and you're not safe anywhere anymore. It happens in malls, it happens in churches and synagogues and gymnasiums, any place people dwell in public or they congregate in public. You know, you always think about that. Each time you go to the grocery store, the supermarket, you think about that, you know, and the thing that goes to your mind, and we really shouldn't have to think about things like that. We shouldn't really have to think, oh, I'm going to go to the store for 5 minutes. Will I come back? You really shouldn't have to think that way. But this is the reality of life for the time being. And we're working on things. Hopefully, the politicians will come to their senses and come and snap out of these illusions that it's okay, and stop beholding to the the National Rifle Association, that's RNA, the RNA, yeah, right, national, NRA, I should say, NRA. I got the letters all jumbled, mumbled, but that's okay. It's the NRA, the National Rifle Association, and stop beholding to them. And as I said before, and as many people said before, the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment, and no one is trying to take away your guns. All we want is gun control, but they won't even give us that. So, you know, that's what we have so far today. Also in the news, oh boy, you know, do I have to keep talking about that? A jury and a civil trial held in Lower Manhattan in New York City. 345/666 Beast Incarnate. Well, you know who he is. I don't have to mention his name. You already, if you watch the show all the time, you know who he is. And if you don't, then you're going to have to ask someone who knows, because I'm not going to mention his name, but you know, you get the idea. Well, of course, sexually abused a young lady by the name of E.J. Carroll. Oh, she was in court for years for this, you know, and he was grounded on sexual assault. So what happened, that the story was, they went into a dressing room, and I think the name of the outlet was called Bergdorf Goodman. That was a department store in Manhattan. Back in the 1990s, this happened. And he defamed her after she went public about the incident in 2019. And then he denied all of this. So he's brought up in charges. But the jury, which made up of 6 men and 3 women, 6 men and 3 women, also found that 345/666 Beast Incarnate was guilty. They found him guilty, not of rape though. The charges of rape, not guilty of rape, but charges of sexual defamation, sexual harassment, or So they didn't fine him. They didn't charge him of the rape. The charges of the rape didn't happen. So I don't know. I have reservations about that one, but we'll leave that one alone because the court said, okay, that's it, and that's what the jury says. And it was unanimous, and it took the jury less than 3 hours to reach that verdict. So she is going to be awarded $5 million. $5 million. And 345/666 Beast Incarnate vows to say, and he said it, him and his lawyers, they're going to contest this thing. They're going to go for appeal. They're going to appeal. So I don't know how that's going to happen. The lawyer gave him a big chance, but you know what? It's too late. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to go further than that. I don't think it's going to go further than that. It's done. It's a done deal. But it's going to take a little time for her to get that money, though. But she will get paid for that. Anyway, I'm going to go to important things right now. I am going over to Charlotte, North Carolina right now because Brian Camp is in the wings right there. And he's here bringing us the latest developments in today's world of sports with all of his sports memorabilia and pictures in the background. There he is.
Like a museum. It's like a museum here.
And do you charge people to come to your house to see this?
I'm going to start doing it for this summer. Yeah, I am because word gets around. It gets word back in New York and everywhere else. So I'm going to start off for $1 for a tour. It's just Black history and Black culture and everything, from sports to entertainment to when I say entertainment, that means movies and R&B singers, gospel singers, jazz, and you name it, blues and everything. So so can't show that for free for everybody, but so and they'll come and get a plate of my barbecue smokings. I'm gonna be smoking some food, so they'll get a plate of that too.
Oh, that sounds like a bargain. That's like a dollar admission to see all of the pictures, the photos, and to eat. Hey, that's a bargain.
Yeah, exactly. Can't beat that. Only in Charlotte. Speaking of Charlotte, in the Queen City, it is 75 degrees out here. It's nice. It's partly cloudy. The sun just went down. It's a comfortable evening. And just beautiful day today. Beautiful day. So that's where we at. Get to sports. There's only three things, but three big stories. First, in the NCAA baseball, Alabama baseball coach Brad Bohannon was fired last week during a widespread investigation into suspicious betting activity on the Crimson Tide game against LSU last week. Now, sportsbook surveillance video indicated that the person who placed the bets was communicating with Bohannon, and at the time, multiple sources says it was directly information came from the investigation was told by ESPN. So he is out. It's no gambling, especially if you're for college. College. Come on, it's NCAA. We're trying to get the young kids to not do illegal stuff by talking to agents that they're not supposed to. So he's out of a job. Somebody else might be out of a job too. Last week, you probably heard Oakland A's broadcaster Glenn Kuiper has been suspended after uttering a racial slur while describing a trip to the Negro League Baseball Museum. Now, Kuiper will remain off the air until a review of what happened. Later in the game, Kuiper did apologize on the air, stated that it did not come out the way that he wanted it to. Now, Kuiper has been calling the Oakland A's game in the Bay Area for just about 20 years. He is the younger brother of former Major League Baseball player and current broadcaster of the San Francisco Giants, Dwayne Kuiper. Yes, so you got each brother calling the play-by-play across the bay for one another. One in Oakland, one in San Francisco. There's a third brother. He's not into the broadcasting, but he's more like he's more like what you call like a executive producer for one of his brothers. I think it's for Glenn. So they got the three Kuipers in it together, but Dwayne Kuiper, who's broadcast my San Francisco Giants game. So he made a mistake. It was a slur word. I think I sent it to you. I don't know if you did hear it.
Yeah, I did see it. And I want, when you finish your sports, I want to comment on that too.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to comment that in a second. In the NBA, check your local listings. There's playoff games right now. Boston is at Philadelphia, game 6. The game is still early, second quarter. And the Celtics have got a lead of 37-34. And there's another game tonight is the Phoenix Suns the Denver Nuggets are traveling to Phoenix for game 6 of the semifinals of the Western Conference. So NBA is full effect, along with some hockey. But this last story here in the NBA, shock jock Howard Stern, he's in the sports news, is upset that Black NBA players ignore him while he's at courtside of Knicks basketball game at MSG. Now, he's a frequent guest at MSG. Madison Square Garden is known for their celebrities during the Patrick Ewing era when they were winning. This season, the Knicks making their second NBA playoff series since trading away Patrick Ewing. Stern appreciates getting front row seats treatment with the Knicks, like he's around Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock, and of course Spike Lee. So he says he sounded less appreciative of treatment he receives from the team's Black players. Now he goes on to say, they put me courtside with the Black players who won't carry over and say hello. They won't come over and say hello to him. I wonder why. But they'll go over Spike Lee and to the other celebrities. Like I say, most current NBA players miss out on Stern because of his reign as king of media. Now, the average age of a referee is 46 years of age who recognize Howard Stern, but the average player is just 26 years old and they don't acknowledge Howard Stern. Howard Stern, if many of you don't know, he's a legend. He's New York bound. He's in the New York area where he broadcasts on satellite radio, and he's been around for many years. He's been in trouble with the FCC so many times, but he's a man that speaks his mind, and that's it, you know. But he says he's okay. He'll continue to go to games. This day in sports, May 11, 1900. James J. Jeffries knocked out James J. Corbett in 23 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. And they used to fight more than 15 rounds when I remember. And now they switch it to 12, so they don't go beyond that. 1972, San Francisco Giants trade Willie Mays to the Mets for pitcher Charlie Williams. 1977, Ted Turner, former manager, the man who bought CNN, who's based out of Atlanta, manages his Atlanta Braves game. He was once the owner of the Atlanta Braves as well. 1980, Pete Rose, 39, steals second, third, and home plate in one inning for the Phillies. And birthdays on this date, Mark Breland, welterweight boxer, 1984 Olympic champion gold, was born in Brooklyn, New York. And in 1989, Cam Newton, NFL quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner in 2010, was born in Atlanta, Georgia. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a pleasant, mild evening in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, it's pretty mild here in New York too. I mean, we went up to almost like 80 degrees today, and we're going to go up above that tomorrow too. So just keep shifting it over here my way. That Glenn Kuiper, Glenn Kuiper.
Yeah.
I saw that video you sent me. I saw that video, and you know something, I want to see your take on, because I had to watch it a couple of times though to listen to it. I had to, because sometimes you don't believe what you hear and you listen to it. So I had to listen to it a couple of times. I'm kind of inclined to give him a pass, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of names like Negro and other names that could actually, if you say it too quickly, it could actually be a slip of the tongue. Like there's another one that comes to mind. Nicaragua is another one that comes to mind. So I don't know. I maybe I should watch it again, give it,
Let me say this to you. When somebody states the Negro League, that's not only baseball history, but that's U.S. history.
Mm.
It's a big difference. U.S. history is combined with baseball history. A lot of people get offended when I bring up segregation in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to bring that up? Why do you have to bring this up? Are you starting to try to race? No, because it happened during the time of the Jim Crow laws. It happened during the time when baseball was segregated and Negro players, Black players, had their own separate league.
Mm-hmm.
This man has been announcing baseball games for about 20 years. So when you make that mistake, the way he said it with a flow to it. He said a nice flow to it. So do I wish he gets fired? I don't rejoice over somebody's mistakes and downfall. I don't celebrate somebody being fired. I don't do that. He did apologize. Every person deserves a second chance in life. The question is, if it was somebody else, would they get that second chance? I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look good because when somebody is out indefinite, that means sooner or later you're gonna meet your final decision. So when somebody gets fired and celebrates somebody else, what's the word I'm looking for? Their demise,
Misfortune or misfortune, or their misfortune. That's a good.
Yeah. And their misfortune. I don't celebrate that.
Yeah.
He did apologize, but there are people that's not forgiving. But there is a difference when you say they usually say the old Negro League.
Yeah.
Okay. That's part of U.S. history. That's part of Major League Baseball history.
Yeah.
And people feel uncomfortable by saying that.
Yeah.
But it is part of it.
It's true because that's what it was back then. It was Negro. There wasn't African American or Black or anything like that. It was Negroes.
The Negro League covered people of color, Latin players, Black players, even Indian players as well too.
Yeah.
So,
So we went from, I remember growing up in the 50s. We were Negroes. We were Negroes. The word Negroes stuck around until about, I don't know, early 60s.
I say late 60s.
Maybe late 60s.
Yeah, it was late 60s.
And we replaced that with colored.
Right.
It was replaced with colored. And
I've seen clips right after the day that Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated.
Yeah.
They was using the word on the news, Negroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now in Spanish, negro, that means Black.
That's right.
If someone wants to correct me on that, but that's what I learned. Negro, which is spelled the same way as you spell Negro. They pronounce it negro. Means
Negro
Black.
beans, Black beans.
Yeah.
Negro beans. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they went from Negro to coloreds. We were colored people, and then from colored people, the revolutionary period came around, and then everybody started calling themselves Afro-Americans. After Afro-Americans, then we were just Black.
But it's the way that Glenn Kuiper said it.
Yeah.
He said it was only an 8-second clip as you still seeing.
Yeah.
And it just shocked. No,
but
it's no shock to me.
Don't you think it's a possibility that it just rolled off his tongue the wrong way? Maybe he didn't say that. Maybe he didn't mean it. But
it's a possibility. But
because like I said, words, they have certain words. And when I use that word Nicaragua, right? That's easy to screw up. Dick Clark did that. I used to watch his show before he died, bloopers and blunders or whatever the show was. Him and I think Ed McMahon. And they did that show together, and they did a cut that that he was doing an announcement, and he mentioned the word Nicaragua, but he slipped his tongue.
Slip of a tongue. It happens. Yeah.
So I'm not going to stone this man for now. Maybe they want to investigate it. Maybe want to look at the tape, because it's the videotape. The video doesn't lie.
Well, one of the black coaches for the Oakland A's came to his defense. It was an honest mistake. He said he deserved a second chance. I believe everybody deserves a second chance in life, So, I don't, I don't want nobody to get fired, because everybody have families. But when you make a mistake, the way he said it, he did
it sound to you that he like intentionally meant it that way?
It sounded like he was, I don't know if he was inebriated or intoxicated or what, but is the way he said it. He said it with a flow. Okay. He said it with a flow, with a nice flow and everything. Yeah. So, I don't know the man very well. I know his brother. I watch all the San Francisco Giants game, and his brother is a very good announcer. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that Dwayne Kuiper had a brother named Glenn Kuiper, who works on the other side of the bay in California. So, if he was sincere, again, I wish everybody a second chance in life. But, some people, it's just the way he said it made it uneasy for a lot of people and everything. Yeah. And the team said that this is not called for. So they're doing still a review. I don't know what the latest is as well.
Well, I believe he'll get his job back, but this should be a lesson to fair game, if you know what I mean. It should be fair game.
On both sides.
On both sides. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's not the way it is right now. But this should be a lesson.
Yeah.
A lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get to see you back here tomorrow.
10:05 tomorrow.
Okay. You made that.
And yeah. And I want everybody to keep Jamie Foxx in their prayers. He's not doing well. Oh. It's been very, they've been concealed of what happened. He's a very private person. Yeah. Some say he's not doing well.
I saw that posting. I saw that post today. There was a poster, but I didn't pay no attention, because when you see one post that says Jamie Foxx not doing very well, and you don't see the rest, you don't see any more, I kind of like shy away from it and just wait until there's more about it. But in the interview, Martin Lawrence said that he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, and then Jamie Foxx allegedly post something on Twitter, and saying that he's okay. But as of this morning, I heard somewhere, somebody told me, and you can't believe what everybody say, that his family says that they're ready for the what's the word, in case of the worst. To be prepared for the worst. I don't know how that true is, but let's just keep him in our prayers and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping he's a lot better than they're saying that he is. But yes, but we do know that he is in a hospital. We do know that.
Yes, he's just finished shooting a movie. Yeah. So, we're just going to see how he comes through and everything. Hope that he comes through. Whatever happened, whatever occurred. I'm really not interested what happened. Yeah. Just want to make sure he's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And congratulations to Robert De Niro.
Okay. He has a new movie out. I know that.
And he has a new child too at 79 years old.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, 79 years old. A couple of days ago it was on the news. Robert De Niro,
not with his wife
again.
This is a different woman, right? Because I think
no idea. All I know
is his wife got separated or divorced or something. I don't know.
Yeah, all I know, in 10 years from now, he's going to be going up to open school night with his 10-year-old son. At that time, you're gonna be 89.
Well, they say for his age, he's in good shape because he works out at the gym a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, we'll catch you back here tomorrow at 10:05, right on the coffee.
10:05. Everybody be safe. And the people in Charlotte, North Carolina, enjoy the 75-degree weather. Yes.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Take care. Okay. That's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, he just wrapped up his portion. The latest developments in today's world of sports. The name of his show is called Sports Update. He's here every week at this time. Of course, he'll be here tomorrow on the coffee hour. You'll get a chance to talk to him then, if you like. And again, if you have any sports questions, even now, if you have any sports questions, he may be hanging out listening to the balance of the show. And I could relay all of that information, and then, he'll get back to us in his own little way. Anyway, just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show, again, is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and we're going to be with you till the top of the hour, as we're here every Thursday at this time. And we get together, we have conversation. And if there's anything that you want to talk about in particular, even if you just want to say hi, use your fingers, right? You got fingers, right? You got 10 of them. Everybody has 10, right? And just use them. Use your keyboard, type in whatever you want to say, whether it's on your computer, on your tablet, or your cell phone. And these young kids today, they're very good with that. Their speed on the cell phone. You could see. I watch kids, right? I'm pretty good with keyboards, right? On the computer, I'm very good with it. But when it comes to doing it, comes to speed on the cell phone, it's not happening. My fingers are too big. I'll hit the wrong key every time. But these kids, I don't know, maybe they have a technique on how they do it. Which one of these days I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask some young kid, how do you do that? Teach me, because we can learn from each other too, and in this day and age too, you're best learning from younger people on the technological side, unless of course you've been around longer and you kept up with technology all of those years. And but those of you who are really not technical, I think someone younger is better off to learn from, because they were born into that. The rest of us, we had to learn it coming up. Like in my radio career, right? I had to go from analog to digital. I had to learn that, but you get the idea. But anyway, we're going to be here till the top of the hour, and we want you to stay along with us. There's so much to talk about. And again, you can get on the action as well and be part of us. So much to talk about. Okay, right now, one of the things I want to talk about on this day in history. On this day in history, we're going to go way back there. See if you can remember this year. 1816. This day in history, 1816, the American, let's start from 1751. Let's go back further than that. The year was 1751. Pennsylvania Hospital was founded by Dr. Thomas Bond and Benjamin Franklin in Philadelphia. Now we go to 1816. The American Bible Society was formed in New York. On this day in history, in 1928, General Electric opens its first TV station in Schenectady, New York. On this day in history, 1956, Elvis Presley, first entry on the UK charts with Heartbreak Hotel. And that same year, Pinky Lee did his last show on NBC. And on this day in history, 1959, Kooky Kooky, Lend Me Your Comb. That was a big hit back in the 50s with Edward Burns and Connie Stevens. I think that was 60s, early 60s. It made number 4 on the charts. On this day in history, in 1959, Once Upon a Mattress, starring Carol Burnett, opens at the Phoenix Theater in New York City, and then later on transferring to the Alvin Theater, and it runs for 244 performances. On this day in history, 1962, the U.S. sent troops to Thailand. Back in 1963, Puff the Magic Dragon by Peter, Paul, and Mary hit number 2 on the charts. Back in 1968, actor Richard Harris releases his single, MacArthur Park. It becomes a million seller, topping the charts in Canada and Australia, and peaking at number 2 in the US and number 4 in the UK. Back in 1970, The Long and Winding Road becomes the Beatles' last American single release. Back in 1974 as well, ABC Records released Steely Dan's single, Ricky Don't Lose That Number. It's the only number you'll ever have. From that album, Pretzel Log. And that album peaked at number 4 in the US and making it its biggest hit. Back in 1975, Natalie Cole released her debut album, Inseparable, and it wins 2 Grammy Awards. Back in 1976, the last broadcast of Marcus Welby, MD, aired on ABC TV. Back in 1981, Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Cats first premiered in the West End of London. Back in 1985, Madonna, Crazy for You, that was a single that she did. It reached number 1. Back in 1989, the 217th and final episode of the soap Dynasty was aired. And I remember that very well. People were rushing home from work and all of those places to get home in time to watch that last episode. Who shot JR? We didn't know. That was the episode actually they were watching, not the last one. Anyway, 1989, US President George H.W. Bush orders nearly 2,000 troops to Panama. Back in 1993, the 28th Academy of Country Music Awards go to Garth Brooks, Vince Gill, and Mary Chapin Carpenter. Composer and lyricist Irving Berlin was born on this day in 1888. He was born in Russia Empire, and he died September 22nd, 1989 at the age of 101, and it was done by natural causes. Comedian and actor Phil Silvers was born on this day in 1912 in Brooklyn, New York. He died November 1st, 1985 at the age of 73, and he died in his sleep. Back in 1920, actor Denver Pyle, you may remember him. He played Uncle Jesse on The Dukes of Hazzard. And also he played on The Andy Griffith Show. And he was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. He died 1997. Religious leader Louis Farrakhan was born on this day in 1933 in New York City. He's 90 years old today. He looks good for his age. And actress Natasha Richardson was born on this day in 1963 in London, England. She died March 18th, 2009 at the age of 45 years old from a traumatic brain injury that was due to a ski accident that she had. I remember that one very well. In 1970, Sammy Davis Jr. weds entertainer Alvarez Gore, his wife. That was his last wife in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In 2001, actress Suzanne Plessette weds actor Tom Poston in New York City. John D. Rockefeller Jr. died on this day in 1960 at the age of 86 years old, and the cause was pneumonia, and he was born January 29th, 1874 in Cleveland, Ohio. In 1979, Barbara Hutton, the poor little rich girl, or as they say, poor little rich girl. And she was the American heiress of the Woodworth, remember Woolworth fortune. She died at the age of 66 years old. Bob Marley died on this day in 1981 at the age of 36 years old from a brain and a lung cancer. He was born February 6, 1945, and he was born in 9 Mile, St. Anne, Jamaica. Boxer Floyd Patterson died on this day in 2006 at the age of 71 years old. He was born January 4th, 1935 in Waco, North Carolina. And finally, actor and comedian Jerry Stiller died on this day in May 11th, 2020, at the age of 92 years old. He was born in the 8th of June, 1927 in New York City. Of course, you remember he was a comedian. He was married to Ann Miller, and he is the father of Ben Stiller, the comedian Ben Stiller, who you see today. By the way, is in Robert De Niro's new movie, Anyway, that's this day in history. And of course, if you know anyone on this day in history that need the attention and that I don't know about, you know about, that I haven't mentioned, overlooked it, whatever it is, please let me know. All you have to do is, again, let your fingers do the walking, type it in there. I will see it right on the big screen, and I will relay it to you. Again, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And those of you who have been with us for all of this time, we want to thank you so much for being with us. And I always like to say to all of you guys, if you don't want to talk, and a lot of people don't, a lot of people just rather enjoy the show without engaging in conversation, but they want to know, how can I get in touch with you personally? Well, that's simple. All you have to do is email me or telephone me, one or the other. You can do one or the other, and I have both, and I'm going to give them to you. First of all, let's start with the email address, okay? Email address is frankallanprod@aol.com. Frank Allan. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. That's very important. Why is it important? Because if you go E-N or I-N or something like that, you'll never make it. So that's Frank Allan Prod, A-L-L-A-N. Prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for Productions. frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. Or you could call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. And if you'd like to get in contact with us, you want to know more about the show, or you want to critique the show, because we're thick-skinned, we take all kinds of information from you, or even if you just want to say hi, whatever it is, we will be glad to hear from you, either way. So let me give you that address again, the email address, frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com, or call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. Again, that number is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. Well, you already heard about the situation in New York City. Of course, you know, we heard about that chokehold. His name is Daniel Penny. In New York City, if you're familiar with New York, familiar with the subway system, the F train, this incident happened on the F train, May 1st it happened. There was a situation where he was going through the train, and they said he had a little mental problem. But anyway, Daniel Penny, who had the chokehold on him, is going to, or is expected to, turn himself in Friday morning. I don't know if by the time we get on the air, we'll have that information. I don't know how early, but he's supposed to turn himself in because he's going to be faced with charges. At this particular point, we don't know what charges, but if we get that information during the time that we're on the air, we'll certainly relay it to you. Did you see that town meeting yesterday, that town hall meeting? All right, CNN put on. There's a lot of blowback on it. Some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. But the town hall meeting came out of New Hampshire, I believe it was, right? And the moderator was CNN's Caitlin Collins, who, by the way, I just want to say this before I go on. I thought she handled it well. Other people had different opinions about how she handled it, or wasn't handled right, or whatever it is. I thought she handled it very well. Here's a young 30-year-old journalist who happens to be very good in what she does. She's very good at what she does. I really admired her. I admired her for a while, since she's been at CNN. And she moderated the town hall meeting last night. And I was kind of, I didn't know what to expect in the beginning. First of all, when I found out that CNN was hosting this, I thought to myself, why? Why give this guy a platform? You know, first of all, he doesn't like CNN. He calls CNN the fake news. And I'm thinking to myself, why would they give him a platform? So I decided, okay, I am going to watch this. And the only reason why I watched it is because of the fact that I want to have something to say. You know, I don't want to come in dumbfounded about this whole thing. So I want to have something to say about it. But when I watched it, and I didn't know, when I went on the air, I didn't know, I was expecting something different from what I saw. from what I was going to hear. I knew what to expect from 345/666 Beast and Connor. I knew what to expect from him. But I didn't think that the whole audience was going to be all Republicans. I thought it was going to be like a mix of Republicans on one side of the aisle and the Democrats on the other side of the aisle. So it would be free exchange of ideas and opinions. And when I heard that, I said, okay, this is going to be a good night. This is 345/666 Beast and Connor's banner night, because he's got all of these people around him, all of his, I call them MAGA maggots. And they were cheering him on, and they were laughing at his corny jokes. And besides from Caitlin Collins, who I thought did a good job, the rest of it I thought was a total waste of time, and it was totally out of line. He was totally out of line, but that wasn't any news to me. You know, he insulted her. He called her a nasty person. You heard that. You watched it. You heard that. And then she asked him questions that even a 5-year-old could answer in a snap, but he kept dodging the questions. He made light of E. Jean Carroll, who accused him of a sexual assault, which, by the way, as I said earlier, she won the case. She's going to be awarded the $5 million for that case. He talked about the Access Hollywood and whether or not did he stand by that, or did he think because he was a star he was unable to do that? You know, we learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from that, because now we know where he is, and he pushes that, and he's in agreement with that just because a star can do anything they want, and he felt that he had the right to do that without the consent of the woman. So yes, so now that we know, he let it out in the open. It's okay by him to do that. He let it out in the open. He was asked about the January 6th insurrection, and he said it was a beautiful day. He said the people came in there, they were patriotic, and they came in there with great hearts. They had great hearts, or however he placed it, but it was a great day for January 6th. And now he says, now when if he becomes president, you know what else he's going to do? He's going to go back to where he was before. Remember the family separations, the kids from their mothers and their fathers? He's going to enforce that. It all came out in the open last night. He praised Putin. Putin was a great guy. He's a great guy. Putin can't even wait for him. Putin wants him back in that White House. And he kept praising Putin. He called the officer, the law officer at the insurrection that shot the girl dead, right? And I called him a thug. He was a black officer, called him a thug. And then they talked about kept repeating about the stolen election. It was a rigged election. And Caitlin Collins had to remind them, you can't keep saying that, because the election were not rigged. It wasn't stolen or anything. And she was right. It wasn't. But he kept saying it. It was. The election was not rigged. It was not stolen. He lost. He was a loser. He lost. She even asked him the questions, whenever he decides to run, whatever the outcome is going to be, the question was to him, will you accept the outcome? And his only answer was, if the outcome is I'm just paraphrasing here, if the outcome is true, if it's not, in other words, if he wins, that would be, in other words, that's what he was saying. If he wins, that would be, he would accept that. But if he loses, he's not going to accept that. Because again, if he loses, it's a stolen election and it's the whole thing. And I got news for you. In my opinion, he's going to lose. He can't win. He may He may kick it around in the primaries. He may do good in the primaries, which, by the way, he probably will be elected in the primaries, but he cannot win the general election. And that's my prediction. He even talked about the war in Ukraine and Russia. You know, who do you think is going to win? He couldn't answer that question. Is it going to be Ukraine or is it going to be Russia? Oh, well, he knows. I know he's rooting for Russia. You know that he's rooting for Russia, you know. But let me give you my opinion on the town hall meeting. I was kind of confused because, you know, it looked more like and a lot of people agree with me on this. It looked more like a Trump rally than it did a town hall meeting. And poor Caitlin Collins, she was up there all alone. She was all by herself. And CNN actually put her in a position. Now, we already know that CNN is down on ratings, and their ratings are really bad. And I'm thinking that they kind of gave this guy a platform just to bring up the ratings. And if that's the case, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I said, but if that's the case, and I think that was a very cheesy way to do it, you know. But Caitlin, you know, if you're watching, or if this gets back to you, and I hope it does get back to you, I thought you did a marvelous job for what they gave you. I thought you did an excellent job of what they gave you. And some people did it, but they were clapping. They were the audience out there. They're all Republicans. They were clapping for everything that he was talking about. They were clapping for insulting the moderator, Caitlin Collins. They were clapping for that. Called her a nasty person. They clapped for that. And he was making mockery of Eugene Carroll. Now, he didn't know. He kept saying, I don't know this woman. I never met this woman. I don't know where she came from. Well, what about that picture? They showed the picture. Oh, that wasn't her. That was my wife, Marla Maples. You know, but see, he's lying. He lied from the beginning. As the town hall started, he lied from the beginning. Now, he showed the picture. He knew John Johnson. By the way, John Johnson at that particular time was married to E.J. Carroll, you know. So if he knew John Johnson, he had to have met. As a matter of fact, the photo showed it. Oh, he was saying, oh, the photo was blurry. The photo wasn't blurry. The photo was sharp as a tack, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to appeal to all of you people, for you MAGA maggots, I'm going to leave you out of it because you already made up your mind. We already know where you're going to go. But for all of you Republicans, I'm talking about the real Republicans, the Democrats, the independents, all of you guys with a soul, with a heart, with rationality, all of that, please vote wisely when that time comes around. We got to get this guy doesn't deserve to be there. He does not deserve to be there. He's got to go. He's got to go. And when he does go, and my prediction is that he will go right off into the sunset, right? Take your bottle of wine, get a ukulele, take your deplorables with you and go someplace else and let the rest of us in civilization enjoy peace and harmony here. That's what I wish for, you know. Because I am sick and tired of waking up in the morning and hearing the same thing over and over. Somebody got shot, somebody did this, somebody did that. Please. And for those of you when it's all over, and I plead to the media, please do not give this guy a platform ever again once he's out of it. Because I hold the media responsible of when he was out of the White House, they just kept him in there. No more, no more. It's time for me to go, but before I go, I have a movie for you, and unfortunately, it's only one. And this is a movie you ought to check out. It's A Face in the Crowd, 1957 with Andy Griffin and Patricia Neal. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out on Saturday at 12:30 Eastern. And that's all of the movies I have for you. And so with that, I've got to get out of here. I'm out of here, but I got to go. I will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Brian Kemp will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And I hope that you'll be here too. And that's at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Other than that, I'll be back here next Thursday again at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Brian Kemp, of course, here with sports, and of course, hope to see you too. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night, and I'll see you soon.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.